Okay, we are rolling. Hello. Um, Today is, what is today? Today is June 30th, 2018, and here's your reading. I'm just going to look at what you wrote to me and kind of summarize it. You're located in a remote location, and there's no good schooling option for your daughter, and this is where your husband's been posted. And you'd like to move to a place that with better weather and better connected place. And someone was trying to help you relocate. Someone offered to help you relocate, but 6 months later, and nothing ever materialized from them. So your question is: are we going to move from where you are now, and when? And does it mean that your husband needs to quit his job and get a new one? Or maybe just quit his job, period. So, let me see, and you wrote a few other things. And there was no particular city you had in mind. It could be all over the place. So yeah, let's get started. So I asked you for that 9-digit number, and I used some numerology on that number to pick two different cards for you. I was drawn to these for you. I've never used them before. They're brand new. I shuffled them up for you, and they're sort of like affirmations. So I thought we could begin with one of these Soul's Journey lesson cards, and they all sound like affirmations. So you picked this by giving me that number, and so let's see what it says and what message it has for you. Pride. And of course, this is pride in a good way, not pride as in a bad way, but pride. I love myself, and I see myself in everyone. I love myself, and I see myself in everyone. So you could use that as a mantra or as an affirmation if you like. But that's a message that you pulled for yourself on your soul's journey right now. So I just thought that would be a little interesting way to start. I used a different process to pick this card for you. This card is, I like to think of it as a guide, and it kind of sums up the reading, so I leave this card for the end, but this was also chosen using the number you gave me. The deck you chose in this blue starry bag is the Universal Weight Tarot, and those are the cards that I have down here. I shuffled them before I started the camera so we could get right into it. So I'm going to pick 3 cards for you just to build a foundation for the situation right now. 1, 2, 3. And let's just take a general look here. And they're stuck to the board here. Okay. Okay. Yep. Oh. Okay. These are they're kind of like what I expect, actually, so not very exciting, honestly. So the first card is it's one of the most basic definitions for this card is boredom. I don't like that definition because I feel like the image is much more complex than that, but boredom, if you're wanting to move to a place and you said the place that you're in right now isn't the word you used, and I know you're not a native English speaker, you used the word connectivity, so I wasn't sure if that meant from an electrical perspective, meaning like good internet connections, television, things like that, or if you meant connected meaning urban, in a city where there's a lot things from a lot of different states or cultures or languages and things like that. But it could be for you be the basic meaning of boredom, like where you've been in a place where there's just not a lot to do where you are that's enriching. So I'll leave the possibility for the literal definition. But the other thing that I see about this is that the more important thing is that you have a guy sitting against the tree, and he's just kind of looking forlorn, and there's a cloud and a hand coming out of the cloud, and it's offering him a chalice, a cup, and he's barely even noticing it. He's concentrating on these cups in front of him, what's already here. These cups happen to be empty as well. And a way you can look at it is, if you focus on what's not going well in your life, you could miss a new opportunity that's divinely offered for you. So it's always good not to get stuck in a place where, oh, woe is me, or stuck in a place where you're focusing on what you don't have, because that can basically, from a law of attraction perspective, that could be drawing your attention from opportunities that arise. And this echoes the sword over here, which I'll get to in a minute, actually. And I'll tell you why it echoes. I have another deck here where all the cards are in order. So I'm just going to pull another card that this resembles really quick. The Ace of Cups. Whoops, and I went right past it. There we go. So the Ace of Cups is also a card where it's a hand coming out of a cloud, and it's divinely offering you a chalice. In this case, the cup runneth over, right? Cups are about emotions. And so the Four of Cups, it's definitely on an emotional level that all these feelings are coming up. It's not just in your head, like mental, like swords would be just in your head. So this is something you're feeling deeply. And I'd say that because it was reversed when it came up like this, it is probably, there's a big blockage with this energy. I would say that it's probably been happening for quite a long time. It's been building up, and you feel like it's going to be very hard to move this energy, whatever's blocking you. Also, of course, there's the literal move that we're talking about. Now here, this is exactly the situation you're in right now. So this is the suit of Pentacles. Pentacles are a symbol of earth. Cups were water. Pentacles are the symbol of earth. So it's about things like being grounded. It's about it's often about jobs in terms of like just what you do to earn money to pay for what you need to get by, rather than jobs like your passion or vocation. Pentacles are about everything like from a practical perspective in your life. So like food, shelter, your home. So you right now are, you can see that the guy's kind of like a juggler, and these two pentacles are intertwined by a ribbon, so it's about balance and weighing two different options. So, I mean, to me, clearly where you are right now is you're weighing two different options about where to live, really, and that's Earth. Where on Earth are you going to be? You can see that there's some water in the background, and it goes kind of up and down, and it's very choppy, and there's two ships on it. So ships do indicate movement. So this is exactly what you're contemplating. Water, again, is the symbol of emotion. So even though this is a pentacle, there's an element of water in the image. So there's some emotional up and downs around this decision of what to do with your pragmatic, earthy situation here. The good news is that you've got an Ace of Swords, and this is another card where a hand is coming out of a cloud, and it's offerings. It's basically a divine offering. So the energy of swords is being divinely offered to you here. So that means there's an opportunity. Some tarot authors believe that when an ace is given to you, that it's an opportunity that can be short-lived. So you can't just sit on it. It's also goading you to act. So aces are the sword of anxiety. They're the sword of the mind and intellect. When you're depressed or anxious, that's all about having an overabundance of thought. But in this case, I believe the sword here is really just about using your intellect and logic to make some decisions about where to go forward. And if you use what you've been given, you'll be victorious. You can see up at the top of the sword here, there's a crown, there's the olive leaves and the palm frond, and that's all about victory, a crowning achievement. So if you look at this as an opportunity to really use your intellect to figure out what's next, I think you can be you can get what you want, and I think you can turn around whatever is well, kind of depressing you over here. So let me see. Let's take a look at the energy of moving. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. I'm going to draw a card for staying put. This would be not. This is the energy around not moving, and then the energy of moving here. So let's take a look at what the 2 options look like energetically. Okay. And oh, okay. So this is the 6 of Cups, and as we just said, cups are all about emotions. There's a young boy giving a young girl a chalice filled with flowers, and the basic definition of this card is usually nostalgia. So you can see in the background of what's going on too. There's a city in the background. There's and might be hard to see on camera, but there's a man walking with a spear in his hand, and although there's like in the foreground there's this whole sense, there's a very sweet scene of nostalgia. The man in the background's there to kind of remind you that okay, life is still going on, while these kids who might be oblivious to the fact that there's a war going on or that they need to be protected, some guy with a spear, because people don't normally walk around with spears day to day, right? There might be other stuff going on, but you know, they're not aware. So what I'm thinking is staying put, nostalgia. This could be about, and I don't know if this is for you, your husband's family, your family or something. It could be that you've been where you are, like the place you are. Maybe it's one of the 2, it's the hometown of one of you. So I think there's a definite element, if you stay, there's some like connections here that you feel, that someone feels very positively about, okay? So that might be one of the positives to look at to kind of change your outlook about the way things are. Like instead of focusing on here, focus on the good things. So nostalgia for staying. Now for going, okay, so this to me is going to indicate that your husband would probably need to get a new job to move. Let me explain why. This is the Page of Pentacles. Pages, it goes pages, knights, queens, kings. Pages are of the court cards, the people in the tarot. They're the beginners. They're the debutantes. They are just starting out, and they don't have any mastery over their suit yet. And the suit here is Pentacles. So again, Pentacles, it's about earth and where you're gonna be. It's about jobs, it's about livelihood, your basic needs in life, food, shelter, livelihood, stuff like that, out of necessity. So pages are starting over. So I would say that to move, there's definitely going to be an aspect of starting over, and so that's why I'm thinking, since you specifically asked me about job, I'm thinking it would require a new job and not just a transfer in his current position if you guys were to move. It was reversed. So reversed always means block energy. So to me, this would be, in order to make it happen, it's going to be difficult. There's a number of ways to look at the reversals in terms of what the blockage means. It either could be difficult, it could take a long time, and often things that are difficult take a long time anyway, so those are kind of 2 sides of the same coin. So let's take a look at, how do I say this? What's an action you guys can take? Okay, that's interesting for an action. I'm gonna pull one more card. Just for some clarification. So an action for you guys to take to make this move happen. Okay. So This one, it echoes. Okay, so you've got in tarot, the minor arcana are divided into, well, they're numbered 1 through 10, and in some styles of reading you can look at the 1 through 3 as a journey, the 4 through 6 as a journey, and then the 7 through 9 as a journey. And it's super interesting that you got the 4, 5, and 6 of the cups all in the same reading. So it's kind of like almost, it's a completion of an intermediate cycle in life to me, that you got the 4 through 6 of the same suit. So thematically, I think you're in midlife, right? Because you have kids, you're in a relationship. So it sounds like this is about completing a cycle of change, right? So, because something has to happen. So the 5 of Cups here, there is basically emotional disappointment going on. You can see that there's 3 cups that are on their sides and liquid has spilled out. And then there's 2 cups up right behind him. So there's still an element of what we said over here with the 4 of Cups, right? That, you know, the guy's focused on what he does not have, and this other thing is being offered to him. But boredom is the basic definition here. This one's sorrow. So sorrow being the basic definition, he similarly though is focused on what he's lost. In this case, this is a loss, right? The liquid has poured out. You can't pick liquid up off of the ground, so those things are gone. But there's still 2 cups up right behind him, but he is not even facing those. He's facing this direction. He can't even see those things. So sorrow takes some time to and I don't know if this maybe there might be something going on in your life right now where there is an element of sorrow that you need to get past. So without knowing you, I'll just leave you with that to see if that aspect of this rings true to you. If there is some sorrow that's making it hard to move or change your life drastically here. But you know, there's a river flowing through the card. So emotions over time, they refresh, they clear. So with time, the sorrow will move out just by the nature of the flowing nature of water. And then the detail that I really like to point out is that in the distance, not near, but out in the distance, there's a bridge. There's a bridge over the troubled water. So I think the action is really to figure out how to get past all of the bad emotional energy that you have right now, and there is a bridge over the troubled water to get you to the new place. And then you'll see that there is a city, there's a structure in the background here, like maybe a castle or something like that. Now, one other interesting aspect of this card is that two of the cups that have spilled have red liquid coming out of them. So to me, that's wine. And then this cup had green liquid coming out of it. I don't know where you are, but there are not anything. There's really not anything you can drink natural that's green. At least at the time these cards were made in 1909 in England, a green drink, not really a thing. So a lot of people think that represents poison. So the lesson here with the liquid is that one of the things that you would lose in moving, some of what you're losing in moving, it's something that you wouldn't want anyway. You wouldn't want to drink the poison. So it's actually, even though you've lost 2 things that you did want, there's a big element of losing something that you don't want in the first place. So sometimes it takes a while to just really get perspective. And it's like by crossing the bridge and getting farther away from the situation that you get the perspective that, I might have lost something, but I actually didn't want that anyway. I didn't want to be presented with the choice between these cups because one of them was poisoned. So it's actually a good thing to move. But I think this is about letting the emotions flow, trying to let go of whatever might be causing sorrow around a possible move so that you can then emotionally prepare yourself to actually do it. And this second card I drew for clarification is the World. So the World of the major arcana, this is the 21st card. They're numbered 0 through 21. 21. So that is the culmination of the journey. That's kind of like, it's basically the conclusion of a grand cycle in life. And everything has been summed up. It's a conclusion, and in a good way, right? The world is being offered to you, is the way you can think about this. So I think the action of moving, you eventually get a lot of what you want. However, it is reversed, so that means it is going to take a long. You've got two reversals here, so it is going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, and it will probably take a long time. I don't know what long time for you means, but maybe if you were thinking 3 months or 6 months, it will be longer than that. A long time could mean anything to anyone, but I think whatever you're hoping for, if you have a time frame in mind, it's going to be longer, and you might want to double the time that you were originally thinking. You've got these two reversed cards here. So if you were thinking 6 months, maybe it will take a year, something like that. So we talked about, I'm just looking at what you wrote to me again. Well, the weather, we don't need to pull a card to see what the weather might be like where you'd move. I mean, you're gonna decide that for yourself. Let's see. So I was gonna do the job thing separately, but to me this card really indicates that like he's gonna have to start over in this new location. So I'm not gonna do a separate piece of the reading for the job. I'm gonna sum it up then. We're gonna look at your card. This is the card that you chose via the number that you gave me, and it's gonna give you some guidance for the overall reading, and hopefully it'll tie well together. Okay. So this is the first wand that you've gotten in the reading. So this is the Seven of Wands. And this, normally I wouldn't make the comparison, but because like you got a lot of cups over here, but you got the seven, and we have this progression. You have this like the 4, the 5, and the 6. And so now you've got a 7. So, okay, so I feel like a chapter is closing in your life, and you're trying to create a new chapter over here. So wands, and we talked about how like the pentacles are like earthy stuff, pragmatic stuff, like a job in terms of earning money. Wands, if wands refer to a job, this is more about your calling, your vocation, like because wands represent fire. So that's about passion, the passion inside of you, your will, like what you want, not what you want like on a day-to-day basis, but wanting meaning like your dreams, your desires. So this card, to sum up the reading, normally my definition for this is that, and I'm going to pull one of those cards again for comparison from this deck just to show you. So I always contrast the 7 with the 5. So the 5, there's a whole bunch of people with wands, and this they're kind of wielding them like weapons, but they're young people, so it looks like I don't know, maybe they're practicing some combat skills or something. They're all dressed the same. They're all standing in the same level, and it's just kind of like this conflict of wills here, and they're all on equal footing. Contrast that to the 7. I always think of this having an element of, okay, when you were younger, you might have been on the same level as everybody else. But now, when it comes to a battle of wills, you've done this before. You've done it before in the 5, you're at the 7 now. So now you're standing on higher ground. You can see all the wands coming up from the bottom. You're in a higher place. You're in a place of advantage. You're in a place of experience. So when it comes to a battle of wills, you know how to fight this fight because you've done it before. So you're in a really good position in terms of in terms of the element of fire, or in terms of will, and however this asserting will ties into the rest of this. So you didn't really tell me anything about how your husband feels. from a cup's perspective about this stuff, and or versus how you feel about it. You kind of told me what you want. We don't know what your fears are and what your desires are and how those might differ from those of your husband. But in terms of will, I would say that, you know, you are in a good place to get what you want. Try really hard to evaluate what you want, though. Make sure that you're not missing something, staying or going, that there's some good things that you might not be seeing. So before you make any sort of logical and rational decisions, make sure you kind of pull yourself away from the emotions so that you can rationally see, well, what are the things being offered where you are right now versus in this potential new place? Because there could be something that you're missing. There could be something that you're ignoring as well. That's a big emotional message to this reading, that there are things that you are just not paying attention to right now that are good things. It's just that the bad things are where your focus is right now. But the opportunity to move is here, and there is a rational, intellectual way, like a logical way to make this happen. You're being offered an opportunity to do it by using your logic and rationality, so it can happen. You can leverage your will to make it happen because you're in the high position here when it comes to your will. You're thinking about your child, and you have really good reasons for your family to want to move to a new location. So just consider that as an advantage that you're bringing to the table here. You can ultimately get what you're looking for. You can have everything that you want in moving. Staying, nostalgia. So it's just, I mean, this is why people get stuck, like the positive things. But if you really, it's not going to be easy, but if you really persevere and try to get through this blocked energy, it looks like you can get what you want. You can live in a place where you're more connected, and you can live in a place with better schooling for your daughter, and maybe even the weather. So I think that's all I have to say. I hope you find this helpful, and good luck to you.